Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel today. I want to have an honest, raw, and empowering conversation with you. Let's talk about intimacy, not the type that just happens under the sheets, but the kind that starts with words, trust, and emotional connection. Because here's the truth. Intimacy doesn't begin with touch. It begins with understanding, with asking the right questions, and with honoring your own voice as a woman. We live in a world that has taught women to wait for him to take the lead, to guess at what he wants, and to feel guilty for asking what we need. But I want to flip that script. You are not just allowed to ask. You deserve to ask. You deserve clarity, safety, pleasure, and deep emotional intimacy. So today, I'm sharing 5 powerful, sensual, and soul-stirring questions you should ask any man you become intimate with. These are the questions that don't just deepen connection, they reveal character, build trust, and awaken passion that lasts beyond the bedroom. 1. Where do you love being touched the most? Let's start with something simple, but so powerful. Touch is a language, and just like any language, it differs from person to person. Some men melt when you run your fingers through their hair. Others love the feel of a hand on their chest, their thighs, the back of their neck. And believe it or not, most men have never even been asked this question. Why? Because we as women are taught to focus on their needs without giving ourselves the space to explore theirs, or even our own. But here's the secret. When you ask this question, you're not just turning him on, you're giving him permission to feel safe, seen, and vulnerable. And guess what? That kind of emotional safety opens doors to real intimacy. And when he sees that you care enough to explore what he enjoys, he'll be far more open to learning what you love, too. 2. What kind of energy or vibe turns you on? Slow and sensual, or wild and passionate? Sex is not just a physical act, it's an emotional experience. It carries energy, intention, and emotion, and the vibe matters more than you might think. Does he like to be in control, or does he secretly love it when you take the lead? Is he slow, gentle, and emotionally connected, or does he come alive when the energy is wild, playful, and intense? Asking this question invites communication over assumption, and that's where real pleasure begins. Because it's not about guessing anymore, it's about choosing each other's bodies with awareness and respect. And yes, your energy matters just as much. Maybe some nights you want to be adored like a goddess, worshipped softly and slowly, and other nights you want to be pinned to the wall and kissed like fire. The more you talk about it, the more magnetic your connection becomes. 3. Have you ever had any bad or uncomfortable experiences you'd want to share with me? This one isn't sexy, but it's deeply sacred. We all carry stories of rejection, stories of pain, and sadly, stories of intimacy that didn't feel safe. For both women and men, past wounds can quietly shape how we show up in the bedroom, and until those stories are spoken, they often get in the way of full, freeing connection. By asking this question, you're not just being respectful, you're being deeply emotionally intelligent. You're saying, your experiences matter to me, your emotions matter to me. I want to make sure our intimacy feels safe for both of us. And here's the thing. When you hold that kind of space for a man, especially one who's not used to opening up emotionally, it creates a connection that is unforgettable. Because now, the trust isn't just physical, it's emotional, spiritual, and soul deep. 4. What kind of foreplay do you actually enjoy? Let's talk about foreplay, because real intimacy doesn't start when the clothes come off. Foreplay is everything. It's the teasing glances across the room, the soft brush of your fingers against his skin, the words you whisper in his ear. It's the build-up, the anticipation, the emotional dance before the physical one begins. But everyone has different preferences. Some men love slow kisses, long massages, soft touches that drive them wild. Others are into playful tension, rougher energy, or even being told exactly what to do. And you too have a right to your own desires. Do you want him to touch your back? Whisper something naughty? Look into your eyes while he slowly undresses you? Ask, share, explore. Because the more you both talk about what turns you on, the more electric your connection becomes. Foreplay is where the story begins. And the more beautifully you write it together, the more unforgettable the climax. 5. Is there anything you secretly fantasize about? A kink, a desire, something you've never told anyone? At first glance, this question might seem bold, maybe even a little intimidating. But in truth, it opens a door to something incredibly powerful: emotional and erotic freedom. We all carry secret longings, tucked away in the corners of our minds. Some are playful, some are wild, and some are so personal that we've never dared whisper them out loud. Not because we don't want to, but because we fear judgment, rejection, or misunderstanding. But here's the beautiful truth. Intimacy isn't just about what happens between the sheets. It's about feeling safe enough to say, here's who I am, here's what I want. And many men, just like many women, are craving that space. A space where they don't have to pretend. Where they can say, I've always wanted to try this. And be met with curiosity, not criticism. Maybe he's secretly into gentle power dynamics. Maybe he fantasizes about role play, or sensual teasing, or a deep emotional connection that heightens every touch. Maybe he's been holding back, waiting for someone to simply ask. And maybe so have you. By asking this question, you're not just starting a sexy conversation. You're inviting both of you into a world of shared exploration. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real, playful, and open. It's about building a connection that's honest, electric, and alive. And if your fantasies happen to align, well, let's just say, sparks won't be the only thing flying. Closing thoughts, emotional and empowering. Ladies, I want you to remember this. You are allowed to ask, you are allowed to know, and you are absolutely allowed to feel safe, seen, and satisfied. Asking these questions isn't about making things awkward, it's about making things real. And there's nothing sexier, nothing more powerful than two people who choose to communicate, listen, and care. Because when you talk about sex before sex, you create something far more than physical pleasure. You create emotional safety. You create mental connection. You create soul-level intimacy. So please, whether you're with someone new or in a long-term relationship, take these questions to heart. Use them, talk about them, laugh, be curious, be bold. You deserve pleasure. You deserve trust. You deserve unapologetic connection. If this video spoke to your soul, don't forget to subscribe, share this with a sister who needs to hear it, and drop a comment below. Which of these questions are you most excited to ask?